Did you know Mexico has the largest number of museums in the world? It has more than 180 museums. In fact, a report by Statista puts the number at a whopping 1,086 museum or museum-like establishments in 2023. Mexico City, Ciudad de México, capital of the country, lies at an altitude of more than 2,200 meters in the Anáhuac Valley, surrounded by mighty mountain ranges. The city's location is breathtaking. Two magnificent snow-covered volcanoes tower above it at heights of more than 5,000 meters. The city preserves countless reminders of its past, though pre-Columbian art and architecture exists only in isolated fragments and museum reproductions since the Spanish conquistadors built their new city on the ruins of the old Aztec metropolis of Tenochtitlan. A number of the splendid Baroque churches and palaces built during this early colonial period survive. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we'll tell you about the 10 best places to visit in Mexico City, Mexico. But before we dive in, make sure to subscribe to the channel for more similar content. Here we go. 2. Zócalo, the birthplace of the Constitution. The beating heart of Mexico City is Zócalo, the Plaza de la Constitución, Constitution Square, where the country's first constitution was proclaimed in 1813. Measuring some 240 meters in each direction, it is one of the world's largest squares and was laid out almost immediately after the conquest of the former Aztec city of Tenochtitlan, on which it stands. In the early colonial period, the square served a variety of purposes, including as a bullfighting arena and market, while today it's used for festivals, parades, and demonstrations. 2. The National Museum of Anthropology. One of the most important of its kind in the world, the National Museum of Anthropology lies in Chapultepec Park and is hard to miss due to the huge monolithic figure marking its entrance. Built in 1964, this strikingly successful example of contemporary architecture is famous for its magnificent displays of old Indian art treasures, most notably in the central patio, part of which is roofed by a gigantic stone shelter supported by an 11-meter-tall column with waterfalls symbolizing the eternal cycle of life. As spectacular as the vast building itself is its massive collection, which includes archaeological finds from extinct Indian cultures along with details of the lifestyles of contemporary Indian inhabitants of Mexico. 3. Templo Mayor and the Great Pyramid of Tenochtitlan. Despite the widespread destruction after the defeat of the Aztecs, a number of their important historic sites have been unearthed and put on display in recent years. The most important site is Templo Mayor, home of the remains of the Great Temple of Tenochtitlan, including the first relics discovered in 1978, a finely sculpted round disc more than 3 meters in diameter and weighing 8.5 tons. Further excavations, including the summit platform of an earlier pyramid with well-preserved temple walls, along with the skulls of sacrificial victims, indicate the temple site had been built over by the Aztecs and their predecessors 11 times. 4. The Palace of Fine Arts. One of Mexico City's most important cultural landmarks, the Palace of Fine Arts, Palacio de Bellas Artes, is an architectural gem. Towering over the adjacent park, this massive marble building, designed by Italian architect Adamo Bori with Art Nouveau and Art Deco influences, was completed in 1934 and is so heavy that it has sunk more than 4 meters despite attempts to lighten it by removing part of its huge dome. The palace serves as an opera house and concrete hall hosting a variety of traditional and international dance and operatic productions. But many visitors also come here to view the impressive murals adjoining its interior by famous artists such as Diego Rivera, David Alfaro Siqueiros, and Jose Clemente. 5. Mexico City Metropolitan Cathedral. Dominating Zócalo Square, the massive Mexican City Metropolitan Cathedral, Cathedral Metropolitana de las Asunción de María, is one of the oldest and largest churches in the Western Hemisphere. Built atop part of the old Aztec temple precinct, construction of this massive basalt and gray sandstone structure began in 1525 and extended over 250 years. In spite of the 2 neoclassical towers and certain other features, the facade creates a predominantly Baroque impression with its massive twisted columns. Standout features are the bell towers added in 1793 and the statues of faith, hope, and charity on the clock tower, dating from 1813. The cathedral's interior also shows a mingling of styles, with particular highlights being the richly carved Altar of the Kings, Altar de los Reyes, from 1739, with its superb devotional painting of the Asunción de Maria, to which the cathedral is dedicated. Also of interest are a chapel containing the remains of Mexican Emperor Agustín de Iturbide, and the crypt with its tombs of many of the city's archbishops, among them Juan de Zumarraga, the great teacher of the Indians and the first incumbent of the see. 6. The National Palace. Built on top of an Aztec palace, it was the seat of the Spanish viceroys during the colonial period and has been much altered and enlarged over the years. One of the oldest and finest buildings in the city, it includes such notable features such as the Freedom Bell, rung on September 15, 1810 at the start of the War of Independence. It's rung on the anniversary of this event each year. This palace boasts many handsome rooms laid out around its 14 courtyards, some accessible to visitors, and the most notable being the arcaded Grand Courtyard with its fine frescoes depicting the country's rich history. Don't miss the History of Mexican mural by Diego Rivera, which adorns the grand staircase. English language guided tours explore a museum, a number of large halls, and the parliamentary chamber in which the Reformed Constitution of 1857 was drawn up. It and the Constitution of 1917 are on display. 7. Chapultepec Park. Bosque de Chapultepec is Mexico City's principal park, and covering an area of more than 4 square kilometers, it is also its largest. Once a stronghold of the Toltecs, it was here in AD 1200 that the Aztecs settled and, according to legend, laid out a park in the early 15th century. Over time, the hill became a summer residence of the Aztec rulers, with water from its springs conveyed to the temple precinct in the capital by means of an aqueduct, the remains of which can still be seen in Avenida Chapultepec. Portraits of the Aztec rulers were carved on the slopes of the hill, remnants of which can still be seen. 8. Paseo de la Reforma and the Angel of Independence. The principal east-west traffic artery of Mexico City, Paseo de la Reforma, extends from Tlatelolco to the residential district of Las Lomas, but is best known for the stretch from Avenida Benito Juarez to Chapultepec Park. Here, this attractive boulevard widens to 60 meters with a pleasant green strip in the middle containing busts and monuments to numerous national heroes. While now largely known as a busy entertainment and shopping area, this magnificent avenue, laid out during the reign of Emperor Maximilian, is home to a number of important attractions, most notably the massive Independence Monument, Monumento a la Independencia, also known as El Angel, for the figure of a winged goddess of victory standing atop its tall 36-meter column. In addition to its fine statues of the heroes of the country's independence movement is the mausoleum, with its many skulls of some of the country's most important historical figures. 9. National History Museum. Another of Mexico's world-class attractions is the National History Museum, Museo Nacional de Historia, housed in the 18th century Chapultepec Castle, Castillo de Chapultepec, on a site once occupied by Aztec buildings and later by a Spanish hermitage. The museum opened in 1944 and is home to an impressive collection of pre-Columbian material and reproductions of old manuscripts, as well as a vast range of exhibits illustrating the history of Mexico since the Spanish conquest. Also of interest are the apartments occupied by Maximilian and Charlotte, decorated in neoclassical style and containing furniture brought from Europe. The castle also offers beautiful views over the city. 10. Coyoacán and the Frida Kahlo Museum. Laced with atmospheric cobblestone streets, Coyoacán is one of Mexico's oldest neighborhoods. Take time to stroll around the maze of laneways here and explore the hidden plazas, colonial-style mansions, and art-filled churches like San Juan Bautista. Here, you can view some of the most important paintings, as well as works by her famous husband, the mural artist Diego Rivera, and personal items from the couple's life. Note that it's best to purchase tickets in advance. That was all from us today, folks. See you in the next one.